Good morning, everybody. Today, let's learn about a form of organization that is cooperative societies. A small introduction to cooperative societies. All forms of organization aim at earning profit, whereas cooperatives aim at rendering services to its members. Their main principle behind their operation is self help through mutual help, and their motto being all for each and each for all. The first cooperative movement started by Robert Owen in 1844. Definition of cooperative society. The Indian Cooperative Societies Act 1912 defines cooperative society in section 4 as society which has its objective the promotion of economic interest of its members in accordance with the Cooperative Societies Act. Now let's see the basic principles based on which cooperative societies are formed. The first principle is voluntary membership. There is no compulsion of any person to become a member of cooperative society. If a person is interested, he can join a cooperative society. These societies mainly render services. The person, he may or may not use the services of the society, and there is no limit for the number of members in a society. The second principle is political and religious neutrality. The aim of any cooperative society is to serve people. Hence, any person who voluntarily joins or becomes a member of the cooperative society need not look into the religion, caste, creed, color, or political affiliation of the society. The next principle is democratic management. The society is being run by the members. However, the members nominate the board of directors and they conduct and control the cooperative societies. The members frequently meet and guide the board of directors. The cooperative societies operate on the principle of one man, one vote system. Hence, one member nominates one person in the board of directors. The next principle is one man, one vote. Irrespective of the contributions made by the members, each member has one vote in the cooperative society. Thereby, equal voice is given in the management. The next principle is service motive. The primary aim of any cooperative society is to render service to its members. However, a small profit is made to meet the administrative expenses. Profits are not made from the sale, profits are made from the sale to non-members. The next principle is distribution of surplus. The profits earned by the cooperative societies are not divided among members according to capital contribution. They may be distributed according to the type of society. In case of consumers cooperative, it is based on purchases made, and in case of producers cooperative, it is based on sale to society. The guidelines given by the Cooperative Societies Act is 10% of the profit need to be spent for members' welfare, 1/4 of the profit need to be kept as reserve, and the dividends on capital distributed need not exceed 9%. The next principle is cash trading. The cooperative societies can flourish only when this principle is strictly followed. It eliminates the bad debts and collection costs, and however, we can say that in case of certain cooperative societies, there are certain exceptions. Credit is granted, but this might lead to misunderstanding among members. The next principle is limited interest on investment. The pioneers of cooperative society wanted to give a percentage of interest on capital as incentive to members for deposit. Recently, the percentage is raised to 9%. The next principle is state control. Almost all the cooperative societies are regulated by the Indian Cooperative Societies Act or any state laws. An incentive is provided for promotion by the government. The next principle is cooperation, education and training. The success of any cooperative society lies with the awareness of these principles among the members. The aims and objectives are made clear to all the members. The members are trained to perform all activities of the society. So the above are the principles based on which the cooperative societies operate. Next, let's pass on to the formation of cooperative societies. There are not many formalities to be undergone in case of formation of a cooperative society. The formalities in case of joint stock companies or partnership are many, whereas in cooperative societies it is less. The steps to be followed to form a cooperative society is a minimum of 10 persons. When they have any problem or common interest, they can combine together, make an application to the registrar of cooperative societies, understand the bylaws of the proposed society and sign up the bylaws. All the 10 persons need to sign up the bylaws and submit it to the registrar who will issue the certificate of registration. So the steps are very simple, which can be easily followed by any person. Next, let's pass on to the various types of cooperative societies. In India, we have various cooperative societies with different objectives. We have consumers cooperative societies, producers cooperative societies, marketing cooperative societies, housing cooperative societies, credit cooperative societies which operate both in urban and rural areas, cooperative farming societies which might be tenant farming, collective farming, cooperative joint farming, cooperative better farming. Next, let's see the advantages and disadvantages of cooperative societies. First, to take up with the advantages. Open membership. Any person who is willing to join as a member of cooperative society can join the society and perform the activities. Next one is service motive. Almost all the cooperative societies' primary motto is to serve the members and thereby the society. Next one is supply of goods at cheaper rate. When compared to the goods supplied by the joint stock companies, the cooperative societies supply goods at very cheaper rates. Democratic management. The operations of the cooperative society is controlled by a group of nominees called as board of directors. These nominees are nominated by the members, and so the society is run by the members and for the members. The next is low management cost. The administration cost of cooperative society is less when compared to a joint stock company. Surplus is shared among the members on certain basis. Next is check on the business. The primary motive is to serve the members, and so there will be always a check on the business. Next, let's see the disadvantages of cooperative societies. Lack of capital. Very few members join hands and form a society, and so the capital contributed will be less. Lack of unity among members. We cannot always expect all the members to accept a decision. There might not be a unity among the members in certain cases, thereby, the society cannot continue its operations. Cash trading might be a drawback where the members would expect credit on sales. Political influences are many in reality. Political parties rule the cooperative societies, or we can say cooperative societies are run mainly by the political parties, and these advantages, if overcome, then the objective of cooperative societies can be easily achieved. Thus, we have evaluated the cooperative form of organization. Thank you.